Hello everyone and welcome back to Big Dan's channel. I am of course as always Big Dan. Before we get started in today's review, I just want to wish you all a happy 2025 and I hope this year is very good for you. With that out the way, I want to say that my very first film review of 2025 is going to be A Real Pain, directed by Jesse Eisenberg. Now, I don't think I've watched any Jesse Eisenberg directed films before, so this was a new experience for us. And honestly, for a first film of 2025, it went down fairly decent, I'd say. There's a lot of well, not a lot, but there is a few hard-hitting scenes here. And I think with this film, the nice thing that I like about it is kind of that they've went for quality over quantity when it comes to these kinds of scenes. There's only really two or so I can count in total, but when they do hit, they are actually quite well executed. This is going to be minor spoilers, but there is a concentration camp scene that's basically in deathly silence and all that, and it genuinely does hit like really hard on that because there's barely any sound, but it's kind of perfect how they've reduced so much sound out of it to the fact that it is near silent, if that makes sense. Like, it works so well for the film in that respect, and I do really respect it for that. And I do also want to say during this that Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin do give genuinely solid performances. Because to be honest, before this Jesse Eisenberg, the only really films I'd seen him in was probably Rio and maybe Zombieland and a few other films, obviously. But like, I know him for these kind of more comedic roles and stuff like that. So to see him in a different role and still pull it off really well is nice. And Kieran Culkin, I know mainly from Scott Pilgrim. But yeah, him as well, like, he did really nice with the material he was given. But my problem with that material, which I will admit, is just when it comes to tone and that, it can be very inconsistent, this film. For example, there's after the concentration camp scene, there's like they get on the bus and he's literally like crying his eyes out kind of thing, pretty much on this bus. And then he gets off the bus and he's kind of like cracking jokes again, sort of thing, like he was earlier. And it's just a little bit questionable, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't really know how I feel about it, and it was a bit iffy, to put it bluntly. And it's like another example is they go to like a statue sort of thing that's the Warsaw Uprising, and they're like getting the picture taken with it, and Jesse Eisenberg's character who takes the picture is saying, like, don't you think maybe it's a little bit insensitive, to be taking a picture with, like, goofing around with people who were, killed? And they're like, oh no, it's just a bit of fun kind of thing. And it's kind of played off as if like he's overreacting a little bit maybe, and that they're actually like doing something perfectly fine. And I can get where that kind of coming from, trying to keep the film, well, not keep the film, but trying to make a little bit of lightheartedness to sort of balance out between like funny and, serious kind of thing. But it was just a little bit, yeah, I don't know how I feel about it really. The pacing's all right of the film though, I'd say that about it. There's not really any problems pacing wise, I'd say, with it. It's doesn't blitz by, like, so don't expect this to be like, I don't know, I don't really know what film to compare it to, but don't expect it to be kind of like a flat 90 minutes and like it's done straight away kind of thing. Like, yeah, there's scenes that are slower, but there's also faster ones. Like, it doesn't really lean either way on the pacing scale, I'd say. I will say about the film though, for all I wasn't a fan of the jokes sort of being included within the film, or at least not as much as they were, because it did feel maybe a little bit insensitive at times. I will say about it that I do actually like think that they were sort of well executed, or at least decent enough in sort of the line delivery of them. Like, they were actually giving us quite a chuckle and stuff like that. So maybe they were a bit of nice comic relief, but again, I don't mind a comic relief in films where it's just going to be like dread all the time. Like, it's all right in the right circumstances, sort of thing. But yeah, maybe if they just like laid off them a little bit and kind of like toned it back a bit, then I might have been a bit more tolerant of them. But yeah, even so, like, the execution of them, it still did at least give us a chuckle, and I wasn't kind of like, just like, oh, this is so unfunny and kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't really feel forced, so I can at least respect them for that. But yeah, those are the main points I've got to make about the film. If I was to give this a rating out of 10, as I usually do in my reviews, my final verdict for A Real Pain is a 7 out of 10. I went to see this with Delia, my girlfriend, and she gave it the same rating as I did, because we see most films together now, to be honest. Like, I've only seen maybe one, which I went to see today, that I might end up reviewing. It's the only one I've not watched with her. But yeah, we watched most of them together and she gave it the same rating. It was decent. It pushed it up with the concentration camp scene. Like, if it wasn't for that, then it probably would have been about a 6 out of 10, because I know a lot of people have given this like 4 stars and stuff like that, and it's like I can half see where they're coming from a little bit, but at the same time I don't think it's as good as everyone's making out. I do think it is a slightly little bit overrated, but yeah, it's still a decent enough watch, I'd say. Well, for January it's a good in comparison to some of them anyway. But yeah, it's no Beekeeper like I watched last year. But yeah, that's about all I've got to say about the film. I hope you guys have liked this review, and I hope this has been informative in deciding whether you want to go and watch the film. I do also want to say at the end of the video that I hope you enjoy some of the stuff I've got planned to release later this year. I have got a new review series that should be coming out relatively soon. Some of them are still being filmed and all that, and they're probably not going to come out 1 week after the other based on time of filming and everything. But it is a brand new review series, as I'm kind of known for doing at this point, to be honest. But even so, I do genuinely hope you all enjoyed, because there was a lot of effort put into it. Me and the guy I did it with had a lot of fun making it. So with that said, I hope you all enjoy watching it. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. I've been Big Dan, and I am out. Peace.